Coming up next, got some good news about what companies are doing to fight the coronavirus, and I'll tell you 5 ways to digitally connect. We'll take your calls and your chats, and it starts right now. Coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville. You are joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do it, and how you can get there. The conversation is as relevant as ever because the slowdown, the pause, whatever you want to call this national and global nightmare of just stopping our normal routine doesn't change the fact that you were created to fill a unique role, that you are needed and you must do it. So let's keep the conversation going. I want to encourage you today. Hey, you're watching from home. Some of you are working from home now. Some of you have been laid off or furloughed. And you're going, Ken, I don't have a career question or a job question. I do have a purpose question, or I've got some fear. I've got some doubt. I'm dealing with some pride issues right now, and I just need to be encouraged. Come on. That's why we do the show. It's that simple. Just get out the old phone, 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. Fire your question away in the chat room. We'll get to that as well in just a few moments. So I love the human spirit. I love what the private sector is doing to lock arms with the government and our government's healthcare workers and healthcare workers across the board to fight this insidious disease. So here's some good news. I want to share this from Fox Business real quick and to roll through this. Obviously, ventilators, respirators, masks, hand sanitizer. So many things are needed right now in this fight. And I want to roll through this real quick. 7-Eleven. I spent a lot of time at 7-Eleven as a kid, Joe. The Cherry Slurpee to this day remains my all-time favorite 7-Eleven treat. Here's what 7-Eleven is doing. They are donating millions of masks to FEMA to help the medical community to use while being on the front lines. Airbnb launched a global initiative to provide healthcare professionals, workers, and first responders free or subsidized housing. Apple has donated 10 million masks to the medical community. Armani, I love this. I like clothes. I like the nice stuff. I like the nice threads. Armani has halted its operations, and now they're manufacturing single-use overalls for healthcare workers. I'd like to get me some Armani overalls when this is all said and done. I think that would be kind of nice. I'm not an overall guy, but if I was going to be, I think it would be Armani. Crocs, Joe's favorite shoe. The company is working to donate 10,000 pairs of shoes a day to those on the front lines of the healthcare battle. Eddie Bauer shifting portions of its production capacity to make N95 and surgical masks for healthcare workers. Estee Lauder committed to donating 10,000 bottles of hand sanitizer every week to New York State for the indefinite future. And then General Motors is building critical care ventilators at their manufacturing facility. And the list goes on and on and on. Now, why do I share that? Is it just good news? Well, it's good news, should make you feel good, but it also speaks to the fact that there is a light at the end of this tunnel. Why? Because we as humans have an unbelievable spirit to band together and fight for each other when the chips are stacked against us. And bravo to all of you and all the companies that we didn't mention that are doing things to lift others in this time. Keep doing it. We will get out of this, and we'll come out of this stronger than ever. Look for an opportunity to add value, to volunteer, to do something to lock arms with the rest of the human race in this all-important fight. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. Here's the deal. I know a lot of you out there watching the show. Our numbers are going up, and I appreciate that. We want you to like today's episode. Just hit that thumb button right down there below the video. Subscribe, share. But here's what's most important. Engage in the chat room. I'm going to get to your chat questions momentarily. What are you worried about? What do you have a question on? Hey, Ken, I'm just down. Listen, if you want to call in and change your name and location, we'll protect your privacy. But some of you just need a sounding board. We heard that a lot last week. And so don't have any shame about your question or what you need to talk about. call in. That's why we do it. 844-747-2577. Madison is standing by. She's awesome. She'll get you ready to go, and I'm going to treat you well. Nothing to be nervous about. If you are nervous, step into it anyway. But just know that you're a phone call away from some clarity, and clarity leads to confidence, and confidence leads to courage. 844-747-2577. Before we get to the phones, we did a message of hope that released on Friday, ran through the weekend. It's still up. And you can go get the replay of the message of hope at our Ken Coleman Show podcast, wherever you listen to your podcasts, or on our YouTube channel, or kencoleman.com/show, kencoleman.com/show. You can go get that. And more importantly, share the message. I talk about in depth the way you think is directly related to how you act. And how you act is what generates how you feel. So if you're not feeling so great right now, we need to try to change the way we think, not try to change the way we act. That's a recipe for frustration. And so I walk through that in depth. This will really help you and encourage others as well. So go check that out. Just search the Ken Coleman Show on podcast or podcast platform, whatever you're on. The YouTube channel that you're on right now, it's there on demand for you. And then, of course, kencoleman.com/show. And share. 844-747-2577. Remember, coming up, I'm going to talk about 5 ways that you can digitally connect. How do you get in proximity? How do you connect? And then what are you doing to connect? I'm going to give you 5 really practical things you can do. It'll lift you because you'll see that you're going to lift others in this time. And that's what we all need right now. All right, let's get to the phones. Brianna joins us in Pembroke Pines, Florida. You got to be careful how you say that quickly. You can get that all jumbled up. Brianna, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. How are you guys?
I am living the dream. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for taking the call.
Good. What's going on?
Nothing. I guess I'm, most like a bunch of other people out there, and I'm searching for how to get closer to my dreams. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's kind of what's been the weight on my shoulders.
All right, let's talk about the dream.
30-something.
All right, what's going on? Tell me what you know, and then what you want to know.
Well, what I know is what I'm good at, and what I want to know is how to apply that.
Ooh, I love it.
Profession.
All right, let's break down. What do you do best? Give me those abilities and qualities. Talk to me.
Okay, I'm a very good writer. I'm a natural reporter. I'm really good at public speaking. Mm-hmm. I'm really good at giving presentations and like orientations, anything in a group setting with a big group of people. Mm-hmm. And I love, like I said, I love to write. I love to storytell. I'm an empath, so I love, just telling other people's stories.
Yeah.
That's the true passion.
Now, you said, this is great, but you said something that was interesting. I just want you to break it down just a little bit more. And that is, you said you're a natural reporter. What does that mean?
I'm just so interested in other people's stories, and I know what to do to get down to the bottom of what they're trying to say, and I just enjoy doing the research and then rewriting. So that's just, my parents are retired cops, so I kind of runs in the family.
I love it. Now, hey, I don't know if you realize what you've just done, but you walked from indicator number 1, what you do best, and you started walking right into what you love to do most. I don't know if you realize that. But you
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you just told us. You really love, because here's what you said. You said, Ken, I'm really good at writing. I'm really good at speaking. I'm a natural reporter. I'm a storyteller. That's what I'm good at. But as you were telling us what you were good at, you also said, I love it. I love sharing other people's stories. Right. So here's the deal. You love being a storyteller with the written word and the spoken word.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
You love presenting, or I'm going to use the word performing. You love performing a public performance, whether it's a speech or it's some type of instruction or whatever. That's what you really love to do. You like to use words and you like to tell stories with those words. So I think we've pretty much figured out what you love to do. Am I right?
100%. Absolutely. 100%.
Now, what are the results that matter most? So this is the third indicator. And so we looked at talent is what you do best, passion, what you love to do most. And then the third indicator is mission. And that is the results that matter most. So if you're writing and speaking, and you are storytelling as a writer and speaker, because that's what I do as well. When I'm giving a speech,
right.
we're storytellers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're writing and speaking to tell stories, what are the results of that work that you would get most fired up about?
Just even being able to just reach one person and have somebody somewhere think, oh man, I'm not alone, or oh, this article really helped me, or this
Love
was
it. All right, be more specific.
Very insightful.
So be more specific. I'm pushing you now. This is where the breakthrough comes. Okay, tell me think about this. Who are you most wanting to help? Think of the person right now. Even if it's just one person. By the way, I love your head and heart on this. You're absolutely right. It's not about the masses. Who do you most want to help? What problem are you trying to help them with? What solution do you want to bring to them? Those are 3 clarifying questions under results that matter most.
Honestly, Ken, I would have to say I would want to help somebody that was in a similar position that I am, in terms of trying to find. I'm not trying to take your job, but I mean, in terms of trying to find their path as well, just because it's something that I feel I've been searching for over 20 years. So I just feel like that's what I can. So
because you've dealt with so much angst and so much frustration, you figure that you want to write and speak on purpose and mission in your personal and professional life.
Purpose, yeah, that would be great. Purpose and anything relatable, anything, any commonalities that we have as a society in terms of, kids and work and balancing and family and trials and tribulations and anything that's relatable to the masses, which is what we all have in common.
Here's what's great. As you were kind of riffing there, you started to expand the thought process a little bit more. And you were going, well, I want to help them with parenting, and I want to help them. So here's the deal. I just think you want to help people be intentional to maximize their potential. And I think you still have to figure out which category, because you can start out by just doing a lot of, personal growth stuff. But at some point you want to start to hone in on your message and your methodology. That's your homework assignment. Okay.
Okay.
So I want you to be thinking, what's my specific message? And then what's my methodology, right? So think message is your overarching theme, and think methodology as the way that you deliver the content and lead people on a path to the place you want to take them. Make sense?
Makes sense.
All right. So that's what you got to start working on right now. Now, this is something that if you want to be in this space, this takes a lot of time to build a platform necessary, and you don't just build a platform overnight. This is starting small and staying in the small and getting really good at the small stuff. And then as you continue to get better delivering written content to small audiences and delivering spoken content to small audiences, then you get the opportunity for more of an audience. And then you just stay with it and stay with it and stay with it. So what I'm telling you is, I'm excited for you. I think this is what you want to do. You want to be a content provider.
For sure.
All right. Now, that means you're going to have a day job to sustain you while you pursue the dream job. Are you tracking with me on that?
Correct. Yes,
right.
Absolutely.
So that's what I did, and I want to encourage you that you can do that. And that's what you should be doing. And so I want to make sure that you, certainly in this downtime, that you are creating something every day, and that you are, and we're talking content here, and that you are putting it out there. Okay. And then I want you, after you put it out there, I want you to edit what you put out there. So the next time out, you go, okay, I'm going to edit that a little bit, and I'm going to change a little bit. I'm going to keep trying some things. And then you just repeat the process. That's what your rhythm needs to be now and going forward. And you need to be thinking about podcasts and social media and putting content out there. You also need to make sure that you are filling your bucket. See, the dangers that a lot of content providers people that want to be content providers, the danger that they fall into is they run out of juice because they're just putting stuff out and they're not intaking. See, you cannot give, Brianna, what you do not have. And so I'm going to pivot for a moment to the rest of you out there who want to be in the content game. There's two things you've got to do to sustain this thing and stay with it long term. Number one, you've got to be inputting a lot of content that inspires you. What moves your heart? What fires your head? And what moves you mentally and emotionally, that kind of stuff that stimulates you and fires you up. That's the kind of stuff you need to be consuming, and then you filter it through you, and then you put it back out there. But if you're just putting stuff out there and you're never taking anything in, you're going to hit what they call writer's block and all this kind of stuff because you're not receiving anything. You're not thinking about what you are dealing with and what you are facing and what's challenging you and then what's encouraging you and what's equipping you. So I just gave you some gold there. You cannot give what you do not have. You just can't. And so make sure you understand that, because to stay with it over the long haul, it's pretty quickly in the journey. I'm talking like in mile 1, you're going to have to fall in love with the content, fall in love with the methodology, fall in love with what you're consuming. Because if not, you will fall off the path. I can just tell you. If it's just a task, if it's just a chore to try to get somewhere, let me tell you something. There's no juice there. You got to fall in love with what you consume. I'm just going to be very candid with you. The stuff I read, I love reading psychology. I just do. I love understanding how the human brain works and how it affects the rest of us. Our whole body, our physiology, our emotions, everything. I do. I love stories of men and women throughout history who had the odds stacked against them and they still saw a vision for the future that they felt they had to create. And so they did, and they overcame the odds. I love reading about purpose and mission. I love reading about visionaries. In other words, everything I talk about on this show, when the cameras are off and when the mic is off, I can tell you, you want to ask the people that work with me if I'm passionate about this stuff off camera? I am. It doesn't make me better than you. I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back. I'm using myself as an example for you. You got to love, especially if you're in the content game. But even in your business, your side business, you got to love the mission. That's the results. Remember, I'm breaking this down. I'm riffing a little bit. I'm going to get to you, Nathan, next. So hang in there. But here, this is really important that you get this. Whether it's a side hustle or you're in business or you're working for some other industry or the role that you love, you've got to look at those indicators. What you do best is just simply the tools. Your abilities and qualities are just the tools you use to then do work, create something that produces a result. So you use what you do best to do what you love to do most, to produce results that matter most to you. Understand that last indicator, that mission column. Understand something. You have got to have a deep heart connection to the results of your work, or you won't stay the course. See, that's where the juice is. Yeah, you got to really love the work. There's some juice there. But the juice is created when we really see the results that matter deeply to us. And you see those results and you go, oh, I really love the work, but man, those results. Whew, that fires me up. Absent of that, you won't have any staying power. I'm just telling you. Understand that. All right. Enough teaching on that. Let's go to Nathan next, who is in Marysville, Michigan. Nathan, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I really appreciate listening to your comments, sir. I actually feel like what you were saying, you were talking to me.
Oh, good.
So,
well, you know what? I got breaking news for you. I was talking to me. I was talking to everybody. What I just said is absolutely true of all of us. So what's going on? How can I help today?
Well, I'm going to give you a little background on my history. I've been a machine design engineer for the last 25 years in automotive industry. Here's the whole scenario that I'm confused on. On top of that, I'm a president of a rec league. I've been a soccer coach. I love helping people. Okay. With my design experience, I like being creative. I guess in everything I do, I like being creative, making people better, always looking at ways to make things better, seeing things come together after, coaching, designing a machine. I like seeing growth.
Yep.
I see all of that. I love giving everybody information about financial peace.
Mm-hmm.
Probably to the point where, Dave has his thing where Ramsey's a bad word in our household. Yeah.
Sure.
But I just don't know. Am I doing the right career? I mean, I like what I do. Soccer coaching doesn't bring in the money, especially what's going on nowadays.
Right.
But is there something I'm missing in my career? Should I look at another career option?
Well, at this point, I don't know, but let me clarify at least one thing. I believe in hobby level passions and then career level passions. And I think you being a soccer coach and maybe the president of the rec league is more of the hobby level, which I got to tell you, Nathan, I love coaching my kids. I love coaching youth sports. I love it. I mean, you don't understand. My wife will tell you this, but when we lose a game, I have to separate life from that. And I'm not talking I'm super positive with the kids. Okay. The way I am on the radio is how I am with the kids. Very upbeat, but I need to go get alone somewhere and have about 5 minutes of critiquing me as a coach and a leader when we lose. I love it is my point. You get what I'm saying? I love it.
Oh, I totally do.
You get it, right? But here's the deal. That's not my career, but it does make me a better person when I'm coaching and instructing young people. So I would tell you, don't get too distracted by the soccer coaching thing. I think what you said earlier is what I want to focus in on. And that is, here's what I wrote down on my moleskin while you were talking. You love to be creative to make things and people get better. That's what I wrote down.
Yes.
Yeah. See, that was a quick sketch of what I think your purpose sentence is. Why are you on this planet, Nathan? I would suggest it's to use your creative thinking and problem solving to make things and people better. That's what gives you the juice. When you see your direct involvement in making a process or product or a person better, it doesn't get any better than that from a work standpoint. Am I right?
That's very correct.
Okay. So that right there gives us a North Star. That's your Mount Everest. And so that becomes your why. And now you can juxtapose any thought, any potential career path, any potential job going forward off of that. So let's just have some fun for a minute. And I want you to turn your brain off and let your heart answer. You ready?
Yes.
If I could give you anything to try just for fun, no risk, you knew you could not fail, I'll give you the money that you need and I'll throw a little extra in there just for fun. And you are going to spend all day, every day using that creative problem solving brain of yours, that engineer brain, to either help make things, that's a product or service, better, or help people be better. What would you do?
I would think people.
Yeah. I had a sense for that. Your pulse quickened. You could tell in your voice when you started talking about people. So where would you do that? You create the job tomorrow. Don't worry about title. Don't even worry about industry. What would you be doing all day, every day to be creative to help people be better, do better? Where would you do that? What would a day look like?
I would not want people to go through what I had to go through to get where I'm at.
Keep going.
Is that what you're looking for?
No, you're thinking too hard. I want you to feel. What would you be?
Okay.
What would you be doing during the day? Just think about it. You're interacting with people. You've already established that, right?
Okay.
Yes or no? You established you would want to be working with people.
Yes.
to help
Yes.
them
Yes, I
be
understand
better,
that,
do better. I want you to just let your heart, absent of a title, don't worry about any of that. Just tell me, what would a day look like that you would say, Ken, my gosh, this would be an unbelievable day. If I got paid to do this all day, I would feel like I was stealing. What is it?
Now you're asking the tough questions. So I've never thought that.
Well, it's the stuff you need to be thinking about. Just say it. Don't worry about your answer. Just answer it. Go.
Finances. Finance, I would say financially.
Okay. Why?
Because I know what I've gone through. I never, ever want to go through that again. I will say this Financial Peace University doing that. I did that a couple years ago. That was probably the best direction I took myself, especially with everything that's going on right now.
All right. So let me ask you this. So would you rather be a person like our Smart Investor Pro who are helping people across the board, retirement strategies, investment strategies? You could also probably speak into their life on their budget and things of that nature, given that kind of authority that they would give you. Or do you want to be more of a, so if you want to go that direction, that's a full-time career there. You can do very well financially there. If it's financial coach, that's an entrepreneurial deal, or you'd have to build that on the side and build that up over time. So if it's the investing, retirement strategies, getting your financial house in order, and being like a Dave Ramsey Smart Investor Pro, then, that's a clear path. You know exactly what that's going to entail, or at least you can go find that out. So you're going to have to get qualified. Okay. So we just went through stage 1, get clear. Stage 2 is get qualified. Okay.
Okay.
And so you got to find out what you need to learn and do to get qualified. And the good news is right now you're in a good job. You're an engineer, and this is going to take some time to transition over, but it's just the amount of time it takes for you to get qualified. And while you're getting qualified, you're also in stage 3 at the same time of stage 2. That's getting connected using the proximity principle. And so you're getting around the right people and in the right places. I'm going to give you a copy of my #1 best-selling book, The Proximity Principle, because that's going to take all the weight off of you. How about that?
I would appreciate that very much, and I thank you for it.
Yes, sir. Well, hang on the line. Madison's going to get it for you. But that's what you have to be doing. While you're getting qualified, you're getting connected so that you've got relationships out there. You're building your web of connections, and those people go, hey, when you're ready to go, we're ready for you. Let's go to the chat room next. Ryan Johnson writes in, I've been looking for full-time work since 2016. I read your book and realized that my web of connections can't help me, nor can the employment center. I live in a small town. The closest major city is an hour away. How can I find people who can help me? Well, Ryan, respectfully, I disagree with you. I just disagree with you that you think your web of connections can't help you. I think you're making an excuse because you live in a small town. And I don't think you're thinking big enough. I think you're thinking small. And it's time for big thinking. But I'll play along with this question. Then you need to move to a major city. You need to do some interim connecting, which means you go get a job in a major city and start making connections. But you start thinking about how you can meet more people. And so if you have to, you move to a major city where there's more opportunity, and you get a day job while you're looking for the dream job. And in the day job, maybe you're taking another part-time job, and you're getting in the business, the sector, the world you want to be in. You just get on the lowest rung of the ladder if that's what it takes. Because for most of us, that is what it takes. We don't just step into the dream job. And if you don't have a lot of connections, get busy making connections. But don't send me a text saying, well, Ken, I need another silver bullet solution here because I don't know enough people. Then start finding out who are the type of people you need to know and go meet them. So the answer to your question is go make more connections. Connections is the way the world rotates. It just is. So that's your issue. I don't buy that you don't have some connections online, social media, and beyond. I don't buy it. I don't buy that you can't do more there. But I'm also for leaving the super small town where you are limited. There's no question about that. Leave. Get out there, man. Get busy doing something on a low rung of the industry you want to be in. Start meeting people in that industry. That's how you move up. Let's go to Ben Mark. He says, if you're applying for jobs now or in the future, should you note on your resume that you were laid off due to COVID-19? I would not note that on the resume. I mean, where are you going to put that? If you look at my resume guide, where in the world are you going to put that? It's unnecessary. You can put your latest work and where you were, and if they ask you, you can say I was laid off because of COVID. They get that. That's not a stain, but it's not something you got to lead with. It'll come up naturally in the conversation. I wouldn't put it on the resume. Josh Vandenberg writes, I'm a junior in college studying statistics and mathematics. How do I find an internship for this summer as my planned one is canceled? Most of my connections say they're either full or canceled. Yeah, this is a tough time, Josh. I wish I had a super simple answer here. Actually, the answer is simple, but it's hard work. The answer's simple. Applying the answer is tough because of this very factor that a lot of internships are so up in the air right now. So I think what you have to do is just make a list of all the places you'd love to be at as an intern. And as we get closer to some type of normalcy and we sense that the world is thawing here and we're going to get back to work, then you reach out. Because right now reaching out it's not a bad thing to do. You can do it. I wouldn't beat people up and go, 50 times a week at them, maybe once or twice. Say, hey, if things open up, you have something. But you may have to get really creative. It's saying, hey, can I just come by? And even if you don't call it an internship, can I just shadow and just add some value? Because the internship's more official, and I understand why you want that. But what if those internships are all up in the air and they don't go anywhere? I still think at the end of the day, what the internship is the opportunity to observe and connect. So who says it has to be an official internship? Hey, I'll work for free. I just want to shadow 2 hours a day, 1 day a week. Make it super easy for somebody to go, Josh, I get it. Because remember, everybody gets how this COVID thing has turned the world upside down. So it's not like you're a derelict and you haven't done what you need to do. They get it. So I still think you can get the experience of observing and connecting, even if it's not an official internship. That's what I would tell my son to do. And I think that's what you need to do. 844-747-2577. All right, I'm going to wrap up today's show with some teaching. I was thinking this morning, how can I encourage you and equip you at the same time to still make good connections in this downtime, this crazy time? Because I just think people are collectively in a funk. So how do you do it? So I literally, right here on my moleskin, I jotted these things down, and I'm going to give them to you really quick. And I want you to do these things, and all these things are very easy to do today. And I would get them in a rotation. By the way, here's what's great about what I'm about to do. What I'm about to give you works outside of the coronavirus in this new schedule as well. Here we go. Ask others how they're doing. Hey, you doing okay? You doing all right? That's a phone call. That's a text. That is maybe a broader social media question. Go out on your Facebook page, your Instagram, or your Twitter and go, hey, how's everybody doing out there? What are you experiencing right now? What's challenging you? What's encouraging you? How you doing? Boy, that's good. Number 2, share a personal memory or a personal story. Something that's uplifting. Be vulnerable. Put it out on social media. I love this. Saw some of these things happening over the weekend in my feeds, and I think it's just encouraging when others can get their mind off of their life and maybe some of their problems and see a story or a memory that's lifting you. You sharing something that lifts you can lift others. Share something that inspires you. So this is a play off of what we just said, except think about a book, a movie, a song, a poem, a story in the news, something positive, share that. 4th, send a thank you or an appreciation note via text or email. Or what the heck. Once this is all done, write a bunch of handwritten notes and have them all stamped up, ready to go. And once the postal workers start coming back, or they're coming around in your area, I don't know what your mailman's doing, but send it. Just a thank you for what you mean to me, what you've done for me. The old thank you appreciation note, it's huge. And then finally, what about a group video chat? Some of our friends here in this area, they're big music nerds, and they're doing these Zoom things where they're like 5 of them all, and they're just carrying on, having a conversation about their favorite records or the worst records of all time, just silly stuff that you talk about over wings and pizza. This is a good thing to do. So all 5 of these things, by the way, are things that will lift others and lift you. But here's something that's kind of the silver lining in all of this. How do you take those things that I just mentioned and also make connections with people that might be the ones that get you a job where you want to be coming out of this deal? How about that? How about that person that maybe you interviewed for and everything slowed down, and instead of saying, hey, when do you think you guys are going to know? What if you didn't do anything in the communication that had anything to do with the work and just sent them something encouraging, something like this? You were an oasis in the middle of the desert. What if you did that? Could it yield some results for you? It absolutely could. Well, my time is almost up, but before I let you go, I want you to know that you matter and you do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.